Oh, hey. What are you doing in my house?
Oh, I'm here for a podcast.
Okay, but since when did podcasting involve having all of my fine china in a bag?
Getting into character?
Sure, man, sure.
See, Ryan, I put everything back.
Yeah, eventually you did. Eventually is the key word here. We're back.
Yeah.
Brand new year. New us, new episode.
With a classic.
Yes.
This is... I didn't... Actually, a funny thing, I didn't know this was actually a Ghibli or a Miyazaki movie when I originally watched it years ago.
Okay, yeah.
That's because it's not really one of his stories.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Lupin III is... I think older than Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Welcome back to Final Form.
Yeah.
I am Ryan Taylor.
I'm Mitchell.
And season 2.
Season 2.
We got to the second season.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some fun this year. We're gonna try and get through some classics that we missed in season 1.
Yeah.
Try maybe even some stuff that we weren't too fussed on doing in the first place.
No, and one we already have planned that's going to be a bit on the weirder side.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I look forward to that episode.
Yeah. If it's an anime that people are talking about, that people have watched, we're going to try and get around to it. So we're going to kick off the season, as hinted at there, and as you can see in the episode description and title, with the classic, The Castle of Cagliostro.
I'm never sure how to pronounce that.
That's what it sounded like in the dub.
Yeah,
so
that's what it sounded like, but at the same time, trying to pronounce it kind of falls out of your mouth.
I hear you, yeah. This does predate Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
1979. It is definitely an oldie, and...
it's definitely a goodie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean... every box I've ever seen has Steven Spielberg. It's one of the greatest adventures of all time.
Yes,
and he ain't lying. No. And Spielberg, when he throws something around the greatest, that usually means something.
Oh, absolutely. And you can almost feel the Spielberg in this. Like not that he had anything to do with
it. It probably inspired some Spielbergian things, though.
It predates Indiana Jones. If that's any hint,
there's definitely some.
That I looked into that actually, and there's nothing official. There's never been any time where he said this influenced Indiana Jones, but it predates it. He's a fan.
There's clearly some in the back of his mind, subconsciously, and we're all guilty. Every creator is guilty of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think there's anything unoriginal about it, but
no. But
so yeah,
we get to talk about Arsène Lupin III.
Yes,
one of anime's longest-running heavy hitters.
Oh, big time.
And one of the funniest, if you ask me.
Yeah, for sure. So we're back to talking about Miyazaki.
Yep.
He's going to come up a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do a couple of his movies a year.
But like I said, I watched this movie years ago.
Yeah.
Almost completely forgot about it. And when rewatching it, it didn't feel Miyazaki still. It felt very distinctly Lupin.
Okay.
Which is not a bad thing. So when I say like Kiki or Princess Mononoke are still my favorite Miyazaki movies, that's not incorrect, but this still feels like a stronger movie than those two do.
See, my take on it is this is his first movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think he had fully found his style, his voice at the time. Although there are certain things about this movie that definitely scream Miyazaki.
The animation, especially.
The setting.
That too.
The castle, the whole setting, like that is, for me, that's the thing that stands out in most Miyazaki films, and this movie is no exception.
There's a lot of very clearly what will become Miyazaki's speed of animation.
Yes.
And the castles on the backgrounds are very Miyazaki-ish, but the story is totally not him.
Yeah.
But it's one of the better Lupin stories. So it's
the fact that there's a castle at all. I mean,
he likes castles.
He certainly does.
I
like
mean,
his castles.
I'm not going to complain. But
this one's actually on the ground, though. So I mean,
yeah,
you know,
although its design is very strange in places.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
Wouldn't like if that was like the neighbor of the castle in the sky, no one would bat an eye. That'd be like, oh yeah, that's the neighborhood.
Sure, why not?
But
so where are we gonna start with this thing? Like, I guess we can get into the plot a little bit.
Yes, the plot involves end up following, well, Arsène Lupin III, the grandson of Arsène Lupin, who the famous gentleman thief.
Okay, yes.
Who was pretty much the archetype of that character, the dashing rogue who, you know, steals for nobler reasons or just for the sake of the thrill of the steal.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about our Lupin stories is it's very mired in a lot of copyright issues.
Yeah.
And Lupin III is not an official licensed by.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why he's always referred to as Lupin III, and you never see him marketed as Arsène Lupin III.
Oh.
In fact, they actually once tried to make a spin-off of Lupin the 20th by a Canadian studio, based off the anime, but the novel of the owner of Lupin's novels cracked down on that. But they invested so much money in that, they decided to continue the project, and we got Inspector Gadget out of that.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does. It does.
Wow.
So, the funny thing is, though, while the Lupin family always likes, like the family who owns the Blanc family, cracks down on anyone who tries to misuse the Lupin name, the creator stole Sherlock Holmes for a novel, and the family that owns the rights to Sherlock Holmes cracked down on him for illegally using their character. So the character became Herlock Sholmes.
Wow.
So it's one of those things where
totally different.
Totally different.
Absolutely no relation.
Which is why totally Arsène Lupin III is different from Lupin.
Yeah,
Arsène
why
Lupin.
not?
So it's just like
Japanese copyrights are the funniest.
And Western copyrights are equally like so strange. Like the only copyright stories I know that are never funny are the Disney ones.
Yeah.
Those are more totalitarian state.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah, like that just goes to show, like, the influence from Lupin is just, it's very clear, and like it spreads everywhere.
Yes.
The amount of characters that I feel are like personally influenced. I mean, there's not a lot of like paper trails here. You can't see the proof, but like
if you did the silhouette test, a lot of them would pass.
Yeah, to speak to my personal favorite, Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop is very much a Lupin.
Someone once told me he's like if you combined Lupin with Lupin's friend Jigen.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, that's not a bad thing though.
No, absolutely not. And I feel like most of it is in good taste. It's a form of flattery, you know, like honoring a favor and an influence.
Yeah. And I've never seen a bad Lupin story. I've seen some boring ones here and there. Okay. But generally, even the worst Lupin story, like Lupin III stories, are just so energetic in places. You still kind of enjoy yourself. Yeah. And so many characters in anime not only admit that, hey, I'm inspired by Lupin, they'll throw a bone to him, but Lupin himself has this amazing ability to appear in the background of a lot of animes, apparently, because so many creators love him. Yeah. If they can sneak Lupin in the background, they'll do it. And I would love to see some sort of theory where Lupin, crossing over to every anime to steal things in the background. Like, I would watch a series about that. That
would be good,
cross-dimensional...
Yeah, that would be fucking great.
Comedic thief stealing things. Yeah. But there's a lot of difference between how Lupin III started. In the manga he originally was, he was a lot closer to novel James Bond, if you know anything about the novel version of James Bond.
I actually haven't read the Ian Fleming novels.
Don't read Ian Fleming's work. Bond is not charming in his original works. He's a grump, he's a drunk, he's a womanizer, he assumes the term masculine equals master, feminine equals slave. in one book. Legitimately, that's not even like me flatterizing. No, that's pretty much what he does.
Wow.
Yeah, so Lupin was a lot like that in his original novel. He slept with women constantly. He used them to get what he wanted.
Yeah.
All of them were named Fujiko, but they were all different characters. So when they rebooted it for the first anime, they obviously lightened the hell out of him, and rather than have a dozen women named Fujiko he got running into, they made one character Fujiko, who has become basically his Catwoman in a sense.
Yeah.
And their relationship is one of the more interesting things. Like, they clearly like each other, but they also clearly like the gold more.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, and that alone is interesting premise to watch.
Yeah. So the story of this particular Lupin tale.
It opens with one of the best openings I've seen for an anime movie.
Yeah, definitely up there.
The ending of a successful casino heist.
Yeah.
And the animation of them jumping the barriers is just so well timed, and so even the music sting goes well with it.
Yeah.
And then they find out all the money they stole from this government casino are fakes.
Yes.
And they decide, hey, what if we find out where all these perfect fakes that are fooling an entire government come from? And it comes from the Castle of Cagliostro.
And yeah, it's a
pretty simple. Starts off pretty simple premise.
But I don't know how much of it we should get into, because it's one of those things. And it does it is very much like a James Bond movie.
It is.
In that, like, simple premise.
Yep.
That is used to take from setting to setting, from exciting sequence to sequence, twists and turns, and
the gadgets.
Oh, absolutely. It's very much in line with one of those spy type of movies, right?
It's basically if we were following the anti-James Bond.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing either. Like,
yeah.
We mentioned how much clearly Lupin's influenced other things. It's pretty clear Lupin was influenced by spy novels.
Yes. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Not just The Gentleman Thief.
Yes.
But
because, I mean, at the time of this creation, 79, there have been quite a few Bond movies at that point, right?
We've had like a couple of the best ones.
Yeah.
At least some of the best Sean Connery ones.
Exactly.
Like although I want now the next the next reboot of James Bond for him to wear like the Lupin style red jacket.
That'd be fun.
Yes, for anyone who's going to ask, the red jacket is still my favorite design for Lupin.
Yeah,
he's worn a red, a green, a blue, and people will fight over which was the best jacket for him.
Oh, okay.
And it's one of those things where I jokingly say I like the red one, but I don't actually want to start a fight.
Oh, okay.
But I know some people, especially Japanese people, who will fight and say, no, the green era was the best one. I'm like...
So are they arguing about just the color or the era of Lupin?
Yes. I've seen some people where the era is what matters, and they're just using the color of the jacket to sum up, rather than say the number. And I know some people just like, no, he looked terrible in blue. He looked terrible in blue. What the story? Oh, the story was all right, but he looked terrible in blue.
Oh.
Like, okay.
So, which dub did you...
I watched the Manga Express, I believe it's called. That's the newer dub.
Okay.
That dub starred David Hayter, a.k.a. Solid Snake, as Lupin. And it's a bit more faithful in places than the original.
Okay.
But there are obviously a few changes. I know some people will argue which one is more faithful.
Yeah. The original being the one that's on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the first one that was dubbed in English, and I couldn't get into that one.
I didn't see anything. The only thing that threw me off, because I mean, like, again, my first time watching the movie, was they never actually called him Lupin. It's called Wolf.
Yeah, because that's what Lupin literally translates to. It translates to wolf.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
And they often do that in certain situations where they cannot legally use his Lupin name. They have to use wolf because, hey, you can't trademark wolf.
It's true.
But the reason why I couldn't get into it is because my favorite character in the Lupin series is Jigen, the old gruff guy. Yeah. He didn't sound right. Like, he sounded way, way too young in the Netflix.
Okay.
And I just looked at it going, That sounds like him if he was like in his early teens, not where he's like clearly 30.
Yeah.
Who's been chain smoking and drinking and has had a full lifetime of adventures.
Yeah.
It didn't. It just clashed so hard in my brain. It took me. It just took me out of the moment. And,
okay. Yeah, I get it.
And that's more my fault than anything else. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's me snobbish. It's just when you can't get into something for the stupidest reasons, you just can't.
Yeah, it happens.
And while I really like David Hayer's version of Lupin, it still didn't fit Lupin that greatly. Because every now and then he did slip into Snake's gravelly voice in a few places. And I'm like, no, Lupin is way too up in the air. Like, even though Lupin himself is also a chain smoker, his design says, I'm full of energy and life.
Yeah.
He should never sound grizzled.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
Jigen sounds... He looks like... If you open the dictionary and look for grizzled, you'd see him.
Yeah. So maybe the best dub would be a combination.
Probably yes. Yeah. Although, especially if they could let Lupin be called Lupin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
there's a perfect version somewhere.
Somewhere out there. Most people I know will say it was a Japanese version, but no, this is too dialogue heavy places for me to...
We're not talking about the best audio track, we're talking about the best dub.
Yeah. And there's somewhere out there, and who knows, we make it a third dub eventually.
Yeah.
Because this is one of...
Well, yeah, exactly.
...the better movies, and of course, there's a Blu-ray out there with both versions on there. I almost bought that until I found out it was the Australian version. And I'm like, $12 is still a good price.
Yeah.
But it might take a little while to get here.
But so we've talked about the voice acting, the animation. Oh,
my favorite animated scene is really early. It's the car chase.
Yeah, the car chase is
that great. That car chase is amazing. There's so much energy to it.
Yeah.
Like that, if you just cut that out and said, this is Miyazaki's first movie, and then showed it next to, a scene from Kiki, or that wonderful house climbing scene in Princess Mononoke for movies we've covered.
Yeah.
Put them side by side, you'd realize, shit, they are.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the right energy to it.
Yeah, you could feel that more in the certain sequences.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, suits the style of this movie really well.
It has more comedy than those, because...
Yeah.
But it's still so amazing, and even the ending... It's the most unique ending to a car chase I can think of in a long time.
Yeah.
Or how often do you see a car chase where a guy lowers himself at the end of the movie with his grappling hook via his belt control?
Yeah.
Which is hand-powered.
So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this.
How did you think it built up the mysteries throughout? Did they just throw mysteries at you, or do you felt they built them up just right?
I think they did a good job of it. Yeah, for sure.
The first mystery is, why is this woman in a wedding dress being chased by guys in suits?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
your opening mystery, and you're like, huh.
Okay,
that's different,
right? Yeah.
Why do the guys in suits have bulletproof tires on their car?
Yeah, and I feel like that makes a good, not a mystery
hook
film, but like
adventure.
Yeah, a great adventure film will be like, okay, you're going to be asking this question, but when you get the answer, it's only going to lead to another question until you finally get to the conclusion of the movie. Yeah,
I guess that's much better than putting it.
Yeah, or at least to the
climax.
Yeah, the climax, and then the answers are laid in front of you. It's time for how's he gonna overcome the problem, whatever that may be, right? No, I feel like it's well paced. Like you said, there's a lot of really high energy.
Just enough slow points for you to go, okay, I can calm down, I can catch my breath.
Yes.
And like I said, I watched this movie before, but I kind of forgot it, and the entire time I was pretty much on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. And just like I said, like some of these sequences, the different, like a lot of chase scenes.
Yeah,
of course.
That's what makes me feel the most Spielberg. Is there's a lot of my favorite Spielberg movies have chases in them. Yeah, like this for some reason when I watched this movie, I immediately thought of his Tintin movie.
Oh yeah,
which I love that Tintin movie.
Oh, me too. Yeah,
but how many chases were in that movie too?
Oh my god!
And like that's like the most one-to-one. Like I feel like Tintin is the most Lupin III he's ever gonna make.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Indiana Jones close second.
Close seconds, yeah. But Tintin, I don't know. Just
no, I think you're right. Yeah, that Tintin movie is very underrated.
Oh, nobody talks about it.
No,
and I love the Tintin cartoons, and that is basically like here's a nice hunk of nostalgia pie. I'm like So, but.
Another, I forgot to mention this one. 2 more big influences this movie had. The Disney animated movie, The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes!
That was heavily influenced by...
Considering both of their villains end up around clock towers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty one-to-one.
Yep.
Although I will say Ratigan was a much more interesting villain than the villain.
Ratigan's so great.
Yeah, he's an underrated Disney villain.
I love The Great Mouse Detective.
That was my favorite Disney movie for years and years and years, and it's pretty obvious why I like this Lupin movie so much.
Yeah, the director, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he cited specifically Castle of Cagliostro as a huge influence on him. And the other one... noted terrible human being John Lasseter, one of the founders of Pixar. Yeah.
That's like, where have I heard that guy's name before?
Not a good person.
No, I've only ever heard his name like said with venom in the tone.
Yeah, I won't get into that.
Yeah, let's not. That's a podcast for
But the legacy that he and his fellow co-creators have had on the world of animation, I mean, like this guy in particular cited Castle of Cagliostro as a huge influence on him, and then went on to create the Toy Story movies and A Bug's Life and Cars and so on, right? And I mean, I feel like you could see some of the influence in Toy Story specifically, at least in some of the sequences,
especially the ending chase scene in Toy Story.
Yes,
that feels very Miyazaki speed.
Yep.
And it was also my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, I think it probably holds up the best. Yeah, for sure.
Mostly because you're not seeing a lot of humans.
Yeah. The animation holds up the best in Toy Story when you're not seeing the janky looking people.
Yeah, when they have to move really fast, so you can't see them clipping in places.
Yeah, because they had the animation on, like the texture animation on those toys perfectly.
Oh yeah,
and then the humans were like, "Oh, you're like a big toy. You're not as shiny as the other toys." Okay. Anyway,
okay. What do you think of Lupin's crew?
I really, what's the other guy's name? Not the names. The names escape me.
I can never remember his name, and I know for a fact Soul's going to kick my ass for this.
Is it like Goemon?
Goemon. He's named after a famous Japanese thief.
Okay.
Goemon. Kind of a Robin Hood-like figure in Japan.
Yes.
Mythos. And
I'm guessing he has a bigger part in other Lupin stories.
Goemon is essentially the best example I can go with because of your shirt you're wearing. He's basically the Green Ranger.
Okay.
He doesn't show up constantly.
Yeah.
He's there every now and then, and he's not really that interested in thievery, from what I recall. He's more interested in testing his metal. Literally, his katana is supposed to be the sharpest thing in that universe.
Okay.
He's looking for something that is worthy to cut for his blade to cut.
Okay.
He'll still use it to help his friends.
Yeah.
Like when Lupin's on fire, he cuts the clothes off Lupin so he's not burning anymore. Yeah. And in the dub I watched, his reaction was, "This was not a worthy slice. Like, this was not worth of my sword.
Okay.
Why did I draw my sword for this unworthy item?"
Yeah.
His friend is falling on fire. That's his reaction.
Yeah.
Goemon's the stoic... He's basically... Yeah. Goemon feels like the father to Samurai Jack in terms of his animation, his walking, his wandering, his... barely speaks.
Yeah, I feel like I missed a little something with him.
Yeah,
in that I hadn't seen any other Lupin.
He's more along the lines of we threw him in because we wanted the whole 4-man crew of Lupin, Jigen, Goemon, and Fujiko.
Yeah, but I'm guessing if I'd seen some other Lupin stuff, then I would probably...
Yeah. But a lot of his input in the story is pretty much that, unless he's the main character.
Yeah,
okay. Or the main driving force for that story.
Yeah.
He usually just shows up, beats a fucking badass, speaks maybe 4 or 5 lines, and then leaves.
Okay. I'm into it.
Yeah. And it's that thing, he's a nice background character in lots of situations. He doesn't need to be the main character, but when they make him the main character, it usually involves a lot of samurai-style duels or intense, more ninja-style espionage.
Yeah. I really enjoyed, again, the other name, what's the...
Jigen or Fujigen?
Jigen.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, not just Jigen, but the chemistry between...
Yeah. Jigen is usually the one most often seen with Lupin. Every now and then there's a story without Jigen. But Jigen is, at times, the older brother or the younger brother to Lupin in terms of what the story needs them to be.
Okay.
But Jigen is famous for every woman he loves ends up dying.
Ah.
So he drinks a lot, from what I remember. And he's my favorite character because he's the greatest sharpshooter in his universe. Like, nobody is better. And they've given 1,000 reasons why he's such a badass shot. And one of my favorite ones is apparently he uses his hat as an aiming reticle. That's why his hat is always on.
Fair enough.
He's their gun guy. He's the guy who's going to like, oh, we need to shoot something or we need heavy artillery. I'll get a tank.
Yeah.
Like, he carried around, like, armor-piercing rounds.
Yeah.
Like, in his jacket.
Yeah.
Who does that? Jigen does that.
The back and forth between the two of them, it kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you've ever seen this, the movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
No, I have not, but I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, the characters played by Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro, it had that very, like, one of them is completely over the top, lively, and the other one is kind of just like
I've seen shit.
like in especially in the opening when they're in the driving scenes that really kind of I don't know. I don't know if there was any influence there or not, or maybe it's just a
It could just be one of those great ideas.
Yeah, just an idea that works, right? But I don't know, that came to mind.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's lots of examples of that out there where the energetic one is the leader.
Yeah.
And the gruffer older one is just kind of there.
Yeah.
But it's also there to keep him in line. Like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is where he basically grapples Lupin to take him to spill, but what do you know what's going on?
Yeah.
You've been here before, you little shit.
Yes, exactly. I really enjoyed that.
And also the scene where they get a flat tire and they rock, paper, scissors for who does it. They don't even, in the dub I watch, they don't even, like, discuss who's going to do it. They're just like, hey, fine. Rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors. And the loser immediately assumes, I gotta change the tire.
Yeah.
And that tells you, that scene alone tells you, these guys have been doing whatever they've been doing for years.
That opening is really effective at, like, it doesn't matter if you've ever seen any Lupin at all. Here are the characters, and just, like, very subtly, this is what they're all about, this is why they're here, this is who they are.
Yep.
And, 5-10 minutes in, you feel like, okay, I know what's going on.
Yep.
I get this.
Yep.
Without them having to use expository dialogue or
give a long flashback sequence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's there for when you want to find out. There's several mini-series where they discuss the background of just Jigen's background.
Yeah, for sure.
Fujiko's background, or Goemon's background. And Lupin ends up being a third fiddle.
Yeah.
Just in the background, or shows up as a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how you build a crew.
Yeah. It's very effectively done.
Yeah. You can have the main story, which is just these 4 or 2 of them, or whatever number you need for that story to work together. Or you can have the spin-off shows where we find out why do they work together.
Yeah.
But still leave enough mysteries where you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And that's what you get from a show, I don't remember when the manga first started for Lupin.
Oh my god.
Only thing I know about it is the creator, Monkey Punch, hates the name Monkey Punch. His editor gave it to him, and if Lupin had never succeeded, no one would remember the name Monkey Punch. But he still has to say, I am Monkey Punch for all of his Lupin creation, because otherwise people go, who are you? And I cannot imagine how terrible that must feel. Like, you're famous for creating one of the greatest thing ever, Mr. Monkey Punch.
Yeah.
It's like it that the Starbucks joke where they just write your name, but everyone does it.
Oh my. Yeah. This was a lot of fun. I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say.
Yeah.
About.
Without going into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
If we did, I think we could go for a while.
But it's not the last time we're gonna talk about Lupin.
No, we're definitely gonna come back.
Definitely not the last time we'll talk about Miyazaki.
No, unfortunately, the last time we talked about the two together.
Yeah.
Which I still think I think this might be my favorite Miyazaki movie, but it's not my favorite Studio Ghibli movie, obviously.
Yeah.
Proto Ghibli, I guess we could call this.
Yeah. I think this is honestly a contender for my favorite Miyazaki now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's.
This is a movie you could easily rewatch.
Yeah.
Like I like Kiki a lot, but
yeah.
I really only feel like watching it every now and then when I feel like I need something really uplifting or really sweet.
Yeah.
Mononoke, no, that's too dense.
Yeah.
Like I will watch it, but I'll never like. Maybe every 3 or 4 years I'll feel like, oh hey, I haven't watched Mononoke for a while. But this one I could probably see myself watching.
Well, I mean that style, like the comparisons we've made already. I mean,
yeah,
Night and Day, the adventure style of Bond and Indiana Jones and these types of movies, they lend themselves to rewatching.
Yeah,
they're better as rewatched movies.
Yeah. And this is one of the ones where it seems really good. Like, I like the 3 Indiana Jones movies we got, where there's only 3.
Yeah.
But I can never rewatch Temple of Doom. I like it. I don't consider it a bad movie, but I never feel like rewatching it. No. If I'm going to watch it, it's part of the marathon.
Well, Temple of Doom didn't age
well. No, it did not.
Yeah, no.
But even when I was younger and was not as aware of the world, I never came back to it very often.
Yeah.
But Last Crusade, I freaking love that one. That's my favorite one of the 3.
You know what? I might have to agree with you. Last Crusade may be my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
I mean, I like the first one.
Oh, yeah.
The first one I can rewatch over and over, but The Last Crusade, God, I think that's one of my favorite... That's probably in my top 10 movies.
Yeah?
Yeah. Probably at number 10, though.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, that one has the back and forth, kind of like this.
Yeah, because a character like, again, Lupin, Indiana Jones, Spike Spiegel, James Bond, they work better when they have a sort of straight man to bounce off. Like the comedy works.
The comedy works.
Yeah. And
the action works. And the action comedy especially works.
Yep. There's so many more physical sequences you can do when you have 2 people to try and keep accountable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I fully agree with that. I've got some. I got some anime related news. I figure we could get into.
Sure.
Because there's been a few things.
There has been, yes.
First off, completely related. They announced 6 hours ago, or maybe 7 now, that there will be a new Lupin III movie airing sometime in this winter.
Nice.
Called Lupin III Goodbye Partner.
Ooh.
Yeah. No real details yet as to what's going on there, but interesting.
Title alone, considering he stick with his partners.
Yeah. Considering this conversation we just had, it is intriguing, to say the least. I believe I sent this one to you the other day. Pokemon Red and Blue live action film. I mean, technically it's a video game movie, but I mean...
A lot of people associate Pokemon with the anime.
Well, the thing is, like, even with Detective Pikachu, it is technically a video game movie.
Yeah.
But, like, the anime has...
so much of an influence on it.
Exactly. Like, the anime has influenced how the characters are portrayed in the games.
Yeah, I mean, they've retroactively gone back and are trying to put in Pikachu's anime voice cries instead of the original voice cry they gave in the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
So yeah, a Red and Blue live action film.
I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I need more details.
Yeah, I think they're expecting big things from Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, they clearly are.
Yeah, so
but then again, remember the joke I made about the first Pokemon movie, where they literally call it the first Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
They know it's a cash cow.
Yeah.
And no reason to hide it.
Yes.
And it reminds me of that statement we made in the statement I made in Jedi Dropouts, where Western studios think video game movies will replace the comic book movie.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they're good, I don't care what replaces the comic book movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always feel more like live action anime movies have a bad rap, but it's nothing compared to a lot of live action video game movies.
No. There's so few that are decent.
No, and there's not even like a good live action anime movie, but none of them have been like.
Yeah. Yeah, like what would you prefer? A pile of mediocre versus like one or two decent movies in a pile of absolute trash?
I'd actually argue that video game movies generally only have a handful of decent scenes.
Yeah.
Compared to movies, I mean.
My favorite video game movies aren't direct adaptations of video games.
Yes.
Like, I think Wreck-It Ralph is great. I think this year's Ready Player One was great. Which, again, is... it's a video game movie, but it's not like a direct, you know, like movies about video games have
I
far
really think
exceeded.
they need to pick like movies, games with actual deeper story, rather than let's make a Mario movie. Mario's not really known for his stories. Even his RPGs are purposely light on story.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog. They keep trying to make his games cinematic, and no, please stop doing that.
Oh God, yeah.
So let's make a train wreck of cinematic, like video games into a cinematic movie. I got low expectations, but honestly, they could easily pick like I know Konami's up in the ears, but they could easily make a Metal Gear movie.
Yeah.
They could easily turn that Castlevania Netflix series into a series of movies. I'd watch the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that where there is heavier story or heavier lore.
Yeah.
Like Legend of Zelda would be the best example of a Nintendo one.
I've never really played them myself, but I feel like the Mass Effect games would probably work.
They would translate one to one really well.
I feel like maybe even a TV show would work.
No, I would prefer like a Netflix series. Yeah. They could easily make a horror movie out of the Metroid series.
Yeah,
but they would just make it into an action movie though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They would not like it's based off the original Alien. Do that.
Yeah.
Only it make the main character even more badass.
Yeah.
Which, considering a lot of people would think she's the most badass female character ever in movies, they'd be like, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
But
sorry, I just thought there was one more. Speaking of, we'll run the topic of this. There's also a Pokemon anime movie coming out this year.
Yes.
Pokemon the movie Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which is a bit of a wordy title.
I know. They've been doing this trend the last few years of when they re-release a game, remake a game, they make a movie that ties kind of back to it.
Okay.
But they also add in one new Pokemon that's brand new or newish. So there was a legendary discovered in Pokemon Go. Melmetal or Melt? I forget what it's called.
Okay.
And he hasn't been in a movie yet. So everyone's like, okay, following the pattern, Mewtwo will fight this thing. And I'm like, it's getting kind of sad when people are noticing patterns in your yearly movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're generally at least entertaining.
Yeah.
But I like we said, the Mewtwo one. Last one I saw was 3 or 4, and I haven't come back because there's like, I don't know how many there are. The answer is too many.
Yeah. One little last thing, I just feel like it's too big not to talk about, and I know the rage is going to fill you a little bit. Dragon Ball Super Broly. Is that the title?
I think that's what it's called.
Broly.
I don't know what it's called. I have not seen a single trailer for it. I have not seen a single review of it. I know it's doing a lot of... It apparently is canon, which...
I've heard good things.
I've heard good things, and my own reaction is... A lot of people enjoy it. I just really am not interested in Broly.
Yeah, I know.
And they've apparently retconned his character to a great degree.
Okay.
But at the same time, the damage to me has already been done.
Yeah.
Like, the character was bland and interesting when he was first done. Bland and interesting the second time I saw him. Third time I saw him, he was... somehow even worse. And I'm not even talking about the movies, I'm talking about the games.
Yeah.
His movies were always the weakest of all the Dragon Ball movies. Like, I don't remember when I once marathoned all 13 Dragon Ball Z movies. I regretted all 3 Broly ones. And technically there are 2 or 3 movies that are technically worse. Like, they are on a technical level hot pieces of flaming garbage. I enjoyed them more. Yeah. Because I could make fun of them. Yeah. Or they're at least, I'm like, oh, there's at least a good idea here. Yes. Broly is just big, no word, smash Kakarot.
So I decided to replace the question of the episode. Okay. With a quiz. Ooh. Because Dragon Ball Broly, I don't know if that's the right title. Dragon Ball Super Broly, I think is what it's called.
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
Is officially the 12th highest grossing anime film of all time. Wow. It has made $88 million already.
Gee, good for it.
Yeah. So the quiz that I have prepared for you...
Oh god, I'm not going to do all this. I'm getting the feeling.
Can you name... how many of the movies that have grossed more than this can you name? How many of the top 11 highest grossing anime films?
I want to say Ghost in the Shell was one.
No.
Okay.
The only hint I'm going to give is it ties into at least 2 topics we've talked about in this episode.
It's obviously going to be one of the Miyazaki ones. I'm going to say Spirit Away.
Yes, that is number 2. That made $289 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Surprising amount of newer stuff on here, honestly.
I'm just gonna spit
just
one of my favorite anime movies. Did Summer Wars make that list?
Summer Wars is not on the list.
Shoot. The girl who I forget her name. Something.
The girl who
something with time.
It's not there, but I think girl leapt through time.
Leapt through time.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I figured this would just be a bit of fun to talk.
Oh no, it is fun. Just like put me on the spot much. Because I'm not a statistics kind of guy.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
But
you got one out of the 2 or 3 guesses you made.
Yeah, I at least knew which was. I'm pretty sure that's Miyazaki's best movie in terms of gross sales.
I'm gonna run through from 11 to 1.
Sure.
The highest grossing anime movies of all time. We can talk about whatever we've seen. Sure. I haven't seen most of the list, honestly. Number 11 is also a movie from 2018, Detective Conan Zero: The Enforcer.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a Detective Conan movie.
Made over $100 million.
Sweet.
I don't know.
You might know Detective Conan as Case Closed.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the...
And as a small tangent, the last Case Closed thing I ever saw was Detective Conan versus Lupin III. Oh. Which is a pretty entertaining movie. Yeah.
I need to delve into that at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon the movie 2000.
Would not have thought that.
133 million.
Jesus.
Another Miyazaki movie, The Wind Rises, made $136 million.
I didn't even know. I don't think I've ever seen that one. Or even heard of that one.
That's his most recent one. That was the one about.
Yes.
It's like not fantastical at all. I think it's like a biographical movie of.
That's why I haven't heard of it.
I believe something to do with flying. I can't.
Well, I'm interested because his flight animation's always breathtaking.
Yeah. The Secret World of Arrietty.
Never heard that one.
I can't remember if that is a Ghibli movie. I don't think it is. I know it was nominated for an Oscar. Mm-hmm. Princess Mononoke, of course. Yeah. More Miyazaki in there.
Surprised.
That made over $150 million. To bring it back to one of our recent episodes, Pokemon the first movie, comes in at number 6.
Wow, that's a lot harder than I thought.
$163 million.
Jeez, Umpin'.
They've really had us on a string back then, right? One of the only ones on the list that I haven't heard of, Stand By Me Doraemon.
Well, Doraemon is a big Japanese character. He's a children's character. Okay. I don't know anything about Doraemon. I didn't even know he had movies. Not surprised though.
Okay.
I should really get used to the idea that everything is a movie in Japan.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that explains the amount of money then. Kids.
Yeah. It's also a long-running series, so kids plus nostalgia. Yeah. That wonderful bubbling pot of gold.
Yep. Miyazaki back again at number 4, Ponyo.
Okay, never would have thought Ponyo would have outdone.
Over $200 million.
Would never have thought that would have done half as good as Mononoke because no one talks about that one.
Yeah, I know, right? And that is one of my favorites for sure.
One of my least favorites of his, actually.
We'll get around to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But a bad Miyazaki movie is nothing like other movies.
Number 3, Howl's Moving Castle.
Really?
Yeah. Which I can see that. That's a fun movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and it's got a following. And
it does.
Like
I expected half the list to be Ghibli, but I was like, I'm not going to start gambling on which one's bad.
Well, that's how you never know, right? And surprisingly, like, well, I mean, that Super Broly movie, it's the highest grossing Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah.
Because there's no more Dragon Ball on this list at all.
No.
Spirited Away, as I said, was number 2. And the highest grossing anime film of all time, Your Name, from 2016.
Really?
Yes, made over $350 million. It's not even close. Like it is like $50 to $60 million higher than Spirited Away. So we're gonna have to do that. Sometime.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. Like, we now have to see that. Like, why did that one?
I haven't seen it yet.
I know nothing about it.
Okay, let's put that on the.
That's on the docket somewhere. Yeah.
Let's put that on the upcoming dockets. It's highest grossing anime film of all time. Apparently, very sad, very emotional movie.
Yeah.
I don't know anything but the plot. I just know it's supposed to be fantastic.
Maybe when you said sad, I think I may have heard of it. But on like top 10 lists of things that make people cry.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Which, yeah.
Yep.
So, well, we now have a small hit list.
Yes, we certainly do.
We've already knocked off at least one thing from that hit list.
Yep, that is true. And we've got our next couple episodes all planned out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some fun.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Couple off schedule already that I'm absolutely giddy for.
Yep. I'm excited for our upcoming episodes for sure.
I'm really glad we started with such a really good, energetic movie.
Yes.
Started for season 2.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like if nothing else, our first couple episodes of this season there's gonna be stuff to say, whether we enjoy it or not.
Yeah.
There's gonna be stuff to say.
But there's a couple of things we have lined up early on that we already know we like.
Yeah, that's true. So you wanna talk about the next episode's topic?
I think you should.
Okay.
Considering you're the one grinning ear to ear.
I know nothing about it. Like I've seen people talk. I've heard it's controversial. It is current. We don't generally do current stuff.
No.
We're gonna do Goblin Slayer.
I'm not sure how to feel about it from what I've seen.
You've watched some of this?
I've watched a couple of scenes. I've watched people deconstruct it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about it. A lot of people said it was going to be the second Overlord, and then it fumbled really early on. Or it...
all I've heard is a lot of talk.
Yeah.
In a lot of directions.
I like other animes I've seen with that came out around this time, like a couple years ago, that had just as much controversy. This one didn't end up getting painted nearly as negatively as some of the shows that I've. The last show I can think of that had this much controversy this fast was Darling in the Franxx.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
And I couldn't get into it. Like that one's threw up all the red flags for me.
Yeah. And
a lot of the content creators I follow, they tried it and they said no, stay away. There's only like one anime guy I follow who actually defends it, and he's very eloquent about it, and it's very civil and very intelligent argument, but it still wasn't enough to make me go, no. But Goblin Slayer, nobody's like. There's not enough people picking a side. They just say, "Here's some controversies," and then they walk away. Like, it's like, do with this as you will. I'm like, I'm not sure how to feel. Like, this is new territory for us.
I've only really heard that a lot of people were talking about it, and I've seen people talking about it, but I haven't seen much of the actual content. So I'm kind of going in blind.
I know a little bit about it, and I know what one of the major red flags for a lot of people I follow about it. But whether or not that's actually true is another thing. I mean, a couple of times, I like I said, I follow a lot of people online, and not oftentimes do I find, okay, your argument didn't make much sense, but this one is one of the ones where they're all still saying it's controversial, but
anyway, that'll be the next episode. We got a lot to talk about there.
Let's
for sure.
Let's stop trying to figure out what the future holds and actually travel to the future.
Do you have a method?
Day by day.
Oh shit! Let's travel to the future.
Look, I was trying to be inspirational, but I'm not very good. I'm a depressed man. Okay,
we're going back to the future in real time. Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right.
Okay. And on that note, thanks for listening to Final Form. You can always check out more episodes of Final Form, Jedi Dropouts, Hyper Battle.
Whenever I get that started back up.
Yeah, and all that other crazy stuff. Season 3 of Jedi Dropouts will be coming soon. Hopefully the next couple weeks. You can check all that out over at www.jedidropouts.podbean.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just realizing now that whole spiel is muscle memory now. I don't actually have to remember what I'm saying. It just my mouth just does it for me without my brain.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I bet you still can't remember your own cell phone number.
It definitely has a 7 in it. I am sure of that.
All right, everybody. You all take care.
Later.
This has been a Jedi Dropouts production.